Fishing. It's the most neglected skill in Skyblock. I mean, literally. Top 100 in fishing starts at level 30. I doubt anyone cares about the skill, but for the 0.0002% of people who actually care about the fishing skill, here's a full fishing rod guide. Starting off with a fishing rod, it's basically a vanilla fishing rod with vanilla perks. You should probably know how to craft a fishing rod, so I'm not going to go over the recipe. And I really don't recommend using this rod unless you're doing the fisherman quest. I'll go over that for the next rod. Next is the Prismarine Rod. Its fishing speed is 15% faster than the vanilla rate, and it deals 15 damage to mobs. Its bonus perk gives a 25% chance to catch prismarine shards and crystals. In order to get this fishing rod, you can complete the fisherman quest and receive it for free, or craft it from the Prismarine Shard collection. Oh, and by the way, you need to be at least fishing level 1 to use this rod. Just so you know, if you're not fishing level 1, then you can't use it. The Sponge Rod. Its fishing speed is 20% faster than the vanilla speed, and it deals 20 damage. The bonus perk gives a 20% chance to catch a sponge. I don't know why anyone would want to use this, other than earning money in the early game, but it's cool. You can craft this rod in Sponge Collection, and the minimum level you need to be to use this rod is fishing level 3. And there's the Speedster Rod. It's basically outclassed by the Winter Rod for all of its stats, but it's a full guide, so I'll go over it anyways. The Speedster Rod has a 30% faster catch rate and deals 30 damage to mobs. The bonus perk gives a temporary boost to the player when a mob is hit with the Speedster Rod. You know, that's why it's called a Speedster Rod. You can obtain this rod through crafting in the Salmon Collection, but I don't know why anyone would want this fishing rod. The Ice Rod. Another useless fishing rod, outclassed by the Winter Rod. It's basically the Speedster Rod with worse stats. It only has a 10% faster catch rate while having a useless bonus perk. And you can't craft the Ice Rod because it's a drop from the Frozen Steve sea creature. Please don't use this fishing rod. By the way, the Speedster Rod and the Ice Rod require a minimum fishing level of 5 to use. The Winter Rod. We're finally getting out of the range of those horrible rods. It gives a 50% faster catch rate and deals 40 damage. The bonus perk of the Winter Rod gives a 5% higher chance of catching winter sea creatures. This rod is attainable through Sherry from the Jerry event. You can buy it for 40,000 coins. This fishing rod has no fishing level requirement, so if you're not in the early game and you have some money, this is your go-to fishing rod. Oh, you know how I said that we're finally getting out of the horrible fishing rods? Yeah, I forgot about this one. The Farmer's Rod is the Winter Rod, but worst on all aspects. It has a 40% faster catch rate compared to the 50% from the Winter Rod, and it deals 5 more damage than the Winter Rod, but that's 5 damage. You can craft the Farmer's Rod through Clay Collection with a few hay bales and clay. And on a negative note, it requires a minimum fishing level of 8 to use, even though it's worse than the Winter Rod. Don't use this fishing rod. I'll get mad if you do. And there's the Challenging Rod. Nothing really too special. It has a 50% faster catch rate, the same as the Winter Rod, and deals 60 damage. Its bonus perk is actually fairly useful. It gives a 2% higher chance of catching sea creatures. This fishing rod is obtainable through the Lily Pad collection. You'll need 8 stacks of lily pads and a vanilla fishing rod. By the way, you can't just start using this rod because it has a minimum fishing level requirement of 10. The Auger Rod. Why would you even get this fishing rod? Its stats are the same as the Winter Rod and the Challenging Rod other than the damage. Its bonus perk breaks ice around the fishing rod when there's ice near it. I guess it's used in the Jerry Pond. Either way, I still don't know why anyone would want to use this mediocre rod because it literally costs over 14 million coins to craft. You need Ice Collection 10 and 128 enchanted packed ice. You need to be at least fishing level 13 to use the Auger Rod, but it's not like you're gonna have it anyways. The Rod of Champions. Its fishing speed is 60% faster and it deals 85 damage to mobs. Its bonus perk gives a 4% higher chance of catching sea creatures. It's obtained through the Lily Pad collection and requires 8 enchanted lily pads with a Challenging Rod to craft. It requires a fishing level 13 to use. I don't have any hatred nor affection for this rod, so we're just gonna move on. The Rod of Legend. It's known as one of the best fishing rods in Hypixel Skyblock. It grants a 70% faster catch rate while dealing 100 damage to mobs. Its bonus perk gives a 6% higher chance of catching sea creatures. This rod can be crafted from the lily pad collection for 2 stacks of enchanted lily pads and a Rod of Champions, but I recommend buying it off of the auction house because you won't get 10,000 lily pad collection anytime soon. Oh yeah, and you need to be at least fishing level 16 to use this fishing rod. The Yeti Rod. It's primarily used for speed when traveling around the Skyblock hub, but either way, it gives a 75% higher catch rate while dealing 100 damage to mobs. Its bonus perk provides 1 walk speed for every 10 fish caught. The maximum walk speed you can get with this rod is 100, so there's no point of fishing with this rod after it's maxed out. The Yeti Rod is obtainable from killing a Yeti. It's an extremely rare drop, but it's below average for the endgame fishing rods. People hold this fishing rod to gain 100 speed. I mean, I guess it's used to travel around places, but why? Finally, the Shredder. It gives a 75% higher catch rate and deals 120 damage to mobs. The bonus perk for this rod provides 1 strength for every 50 bait used and provides 1 damage for every 100 fish caught. These perks are capped off at 15 strength and 115 damage. It's very useful for killing sea creatures, as the rod tends to deal over 10,000 damage against them. This fishing rod is also now craftable. It's obtained from killing sea embers, and the chance of getting a shredder is very low like the Yeti Rod, but it's a good fishing rod. Many players prefer the shredder over the Yeti Rod because of its damage output compared to its bonus speed, but it's personal preference. Also, if you're still confused about all the rods, I made a poorly drawn guide of all the rods and how to progress with them.
Okay, bye.